I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin'Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. A Christmas make. I know I should be making Halloween things and autumn things, but I've got a bit of the Christmas bug. I came across a tutorial from Bibi Cameron that's actually a couple of years old now, and I just loved it so much. And I'm obsessed with the Storybook Gnomes suite from Stampin'Up. And I thought, yes, that is the perfect make for them. So that's how these two came about. It's a locking gatefold card. How does it look? Well, this is your locking mechanism. It holds it together. That just slides out like that. You've got a nice little shaker that you could turn into an ornament for a Christmas tree afterwards. And then your card opens up like so. And because this is going to be a special Christmas card, I've added like another layer inside, and that's inside my card as well. So it really is a bit of a nice special Christmas card for somebody. This is the other version that I've been playing with, and again that slides off. It's a gatefold, and then this is slightly different pattern inside. So you don't have to do this double layer of card. You could just do the gatefold card with this locking mechanism and you're done. And you can resize it, whatever you want. But I'm going to show you how to make one of these ones with the Storybook Gnomes suite. Okay, so I'll flash you the papers. Aren't they beautiful? Absolutely love them. There's ones that can be fussy cut or die cut with the suite. There's some toadstools. It doesn't have to be Christmassy. You could use those all the way around. That looks like jumper material. Flip it over. All sorts of nice wintry trees. There really is something for everyone there, hence why I'm obsessed with it. The colour that I'm going to use today is this snowflake pattern. That's going to be the outside of my card. And then I'm going to have this lovely toadstool pattern for the inside. So that's the one I'm choosing today. My base card is going to be Pacific Point. This lovely blue colour, because being Stampin'Up, it coordinates fantastically. Got some basic white card and some Poppy Parade as well. So what do you need? Let's put that there so you can do it. We're making the locking gatefold card. We need a base card size that is 5 7/8 by 11.5. To make this locking piece for the front, okay, there's a few layers to this, which I will talk you through. You need 4 3.5-inch squares. And then for the front there, if I just bring that back again, this is also a 3.5-inch square, but if you make it slightly bigger, if your measurements are off at all, it will hide all of that. So I've put 3.5-inch square, but I would actually go a little bit bigger, ever so slightly, maybe even 1/8 of an inch is too big. And then when you've done that, you're going to die cut the centre out. So you've got those bits, okay, for the front. And I've just used a square. I've actually used a stitched die only because I really love stitched dies. And we're not going to use that on this project. But if I just cut it as a normal square and put it to one side, I wouldn't use it. Whereas as it's got a bit of stitching on it, I'd put it in my special box of bits to be used. Does that make sense? Don't want to waste anything. You also need an acetate square that's slightly smaller than 3.5 inches, only so you don't see the edge. So again, ever so slightly smaller. A DSP square, that again is 3.5 inches. Some DSP for the front of your card. And the sizes are there, so your DSP there and there. The card inside is optional, but I've given you the sizes. And then I've layered mine again with some DSP just to give it even more of a wow, just on the inside as well. And then I've decorated it with some bits and pieces that are left over from my gnomes where I've die cut so many of them. Okay, so I think we could get started. This is always the nerve-wracking bit because it's where I think, were my sizes correct? Am I doing this okay? So I am going to pick up my Pacific Point A4 sheet of paper and I'm going to cut it to the base card size. So that is 5 7/8 by 11.5. So on the shorter end here, I'm going to cut it at 5 7/8. Just line it up there and just take the whole length and take that piece off. Now that's too small for using on the front square for your lock-in. So just put that to one side. You're not going to need that today. Turn it sideways and it needs to be 11.5. So 11.5, which isn't far off the length of the A4. So it's just a tiny smidgen off, just that little bit. And again, we're not going to need that, to put that to one side. Now, the gatefold card usually, it's quite tricky to get a gatefold card that meets in the middle. Well, you don't want yours to meet exactly because you need a bit of room for your lock-in mechanism to slide in and out, but not very much. So what I do is on the long side, on one end, I score at 2 7/8. So get rid of that cutting blade and score it at 2 7/8. And then if I fold that over, that gives you 1/2, okay? Now, you could just score 2 7/8 on the other side, but sometimes that's not quite right. So what I tend to do is score one side and then bring one side in. So I'm leaving a real, like, tiny bit. I don't know if you can see. It doesn't overlap at all. But it's not a great big gap, and I'm just going to use my bone folder to make the other side just like that, and just press that down, press it that side and press it that side. Ta-da! My gatefold card. But can you see there's a little bit but not too much of a gap? Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side and I'm going to concentrate on the locking piece. So we need 4 squares that are 3.5 by 3.5. So there's 2. Just going to do the other 2. So 3.5. Oh, cutting. Nearly just scored it. 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, that bit's not needed. So I've now got 4. Okay, 2 of those are going to stay as squares, but 2 need to be scored in half. So half of 3.5 is 1 3/4. So we're going to score it. Score them in half, just one way. So there's 1. 1 3/4 is the other one. Okay, bring those out the way. So now we're going to fold them over like so. Fold it over like so. And taking one of our squares like that, we're going to stick it in place. So is my glue going to play up? Let's have a look, because I've got a new one ready. Yeah, look. I just tested it and it worked. Why does it do that? Okay, this one is definitely going to work because it's new. Woohoo! Okay, so glue on one side, not loads of glue because you don't want it to squirt out everywhere. And you're just matching that up to the square that's there. Okay, and then just pressing it down. So you end up with that. Okay, 2 layers of card there and then that bit there. Now this one is going to go this side. So you just put the glue on there. Love a new glue, don't you? And that is going on there. Like so. and just press that down, and then you should have that, okay, just like that. Now what you're going to do is put this square on the top of there. So let's put some glue all over that. And that gets stuck exactly on the top of there. Okay, I'm just going to press that down. And can you see, I don't know if you can see that, but mine's ever so slightly not meeting up. But that's fine, I'm not going to trim that because that will start messing the square about. When I put all the other layers on, you won't even notice that. So you end up with this. So it's joined, stuck through the middle. I'll just force it to open a bit. It's like that shape, okay? So hopefully you can see that. The back bit just gets left like that. Let's have that as a back because there's a little tiny grey dot. This bit, you're going to stick a piece of DSP on the top. Now, I tend to do the DSP ever so slightly smaller, but you can do it exactly the same. So I'm going to do it at 3.5. Because that's what it needs to be, 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, but do I want that on the back? Because that sort of hints at the inside. So what I'm looking at is my panels are going to be this colour. This is going to be my locking bit. That is going to be the background of my sprinkles. So when I put this on the top, you're going to see just that bit, but then there's going to be sprinkles. I think it's okay. Oh, this DSP is a nightmare, isn't it? Let me just try. Maybe I need a lighter piece on the front. Do you think that looks better? Or the red? Because the red's going to be on the inside. Let's stick with the red. Okay. Decision is made, and quite quickly for me. Okay, so that does actually match quite nicely, so I'm going to stick that straight on. Now if your square is slightly out, I would just trim this because you're not going to see it. Yes, this side, isn't it, that I put the glue on, because I want the red to show. So that is going to go on there, like so, just like that. I'm just going to make sure that that's completely lined up, and I'll turn it over so I can press really hard on it and make sure it's done. Now bringing your square back in, this, oh sorry, forgot that that was right by my head. This square has been die cut. Remember, we don't need that bit, but what we do need is to stick our acetate to it. So turn it over to the side you want, put some glue round, not that glue, the one that works, around your frame. Now this should be cut to 3.5 as well, because this square is slightly bigger than 3.5. Can you see how nicely it fits inside? So I'm going to put some glue around here for my acetate to stick to, but I'm not overdoing the glue. You could do this with double-sided. You might get on better with double-sided. I'm a glue girl, just because I like the wiggle room. Now I'm going to lose the acetate. Did you see that? I couldn't find it. Okay, that's just going to go on there, like so. And I'm not going to mess about with that too much because I don't want glue to squirt out everywhere, but I just want it to stick. So that's going to go to one side, and that is going to be sticking. Now, sprinkles. Now, if you're a craft collector, did you notice I didn't say hoarder? You're going to have all sorts of Christmas sprinkles in your collection. So I am just going to randomly put some sprinkles on. Now, because it's that colour and that colour, I want to sort of stick to the theme. So I'm just going to make a little pile. And I make sure that they're all fairly flat. So I've got some snowflakes, quite a few snowflakes. What else have I got? Oh, I've got a Merry Christmas in gold, but I don't know if I like that against the red. Have I got it in any other colours? No, just green. Don't really like the green against it either. I need some blue sprinkles. I need to go and get some blue sprinkles. What are these? Little reindeer. Oh, they might be alright. And there's some red ones. Let's put some of those in as well. Okay, so there's a few reindeer. Okay, now what I don't want it to do is when my card stands up, them all go to the bottom. So I am just going to put a few dots, little dots of glue, and I'm going to stick stuff to it so that even when all the sprinkles go down to the bottom, some are still seen. So that one, let's put a reindeer there. So I'm not overdoing it, I'm not sticking loads. And then put my sprinkles back on the top, just in the middle, like so. A few more there. Oh, that one's bent over. I think that might affect it. So that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. Then I'm going to show you these amazing things that Stampin' Up do. Adhesive strips. So they're much bigger than this. These are cut down. They're about, oh, I don't know. Does it say actually how long they are? It says 9.1 metres that you get in total. That's not helpful, is that? They are about the length of the grid paper. They're quite big and they are perfect for shaker cards. If you're into shaker cards, then these are a must for you. You get loads of them. Well, you get 9.1 metres. So bring your acetate square back. I'm going to move that out of the way. And what we're going to do is cut our strips, or we're going to stick them and then cut them. So can you see, they're like, they're the same as dimensionals, they're foamy. One side is sticky when you peel it off, so I'm just going to put that along there, and then I'll talk to you in a minute. And the other side has got tape on that you're going to cut off. So I'm just going to cut that to where I think I want it to be. Now, what you need to think about with a shaker card is that if you put your strip right at the edge, when all your sequins and bits fall down inside your card, you're going to hardly see them because they're going to be hidden behind the frame. So you need to stick these strips fairly close to where your window is. So can you see I'm doing it round the actual frame? And because this is a square frame, it's very easy for me to use all the bits up and just join it. Just make sure there's no gap for the shaker bits to come out. Okay, so that bit's going to go there. And then I'm going to get the next strip, so there's no waste. Okay, just going to do this one, just going to butt that up to there. Do it to where I think. And they're quite good because you can curve them as well. Let's go from there. This must be a nightmare for you to watch because I keep changing the angle, don't I? Let me finish this and I'll show you what I mean. So that can go just back on my strip again. Can you see I've barely used any? And I'm just going to press that down. If you want to, go from the other side and just press it so you know it's really stuck down. So I've put my frame right next to the window, but you can't see it. And then I'm going to peel off the backing all the way round. So I used to use loads and loads of dimensionals, but then discovered these a few years ago. So now just make sure your sequins are in the middle, and then put your square over the top. Ta-da! There's your shaker decoration. Now you can, like I say, use it afterwards as a decoration because it's perfect for that. And you can do it in circles and ovals and triangles and all sorts, but that's going to be our locking mechanism. So let's put that to one side, finish this card. So the front panels, now the front panels should be 2 7/8 by 5 6/8, but remember that you folded this in, so before you stick anything down, check. So this one was, well, it was 2 7/8, wasn't it? So actually it needs to be 2 6/8. The card that we scored was 2 7/8. So let's do 2 3/4 or 2 6/8. And let's see what that looks like. And we know that the card was 5 7/8. So we do that 5 3/4. And let's see what that looks like before we stick it down. I keep forgetting I've got a different camera stand and I keep forgetting and knocking the video, so I'm so sorry. So yeah, that looks good on that one. So if I was to cut the same again on this side, is it going to be just as good? I think it is. Woohoo! Okay. So let's cut that again. So it was 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. And we can stick that on. So that looks good. So let's stick that on with this lovely new glue. So this is my third make of this, just because I love it, and I think that come Christmas it will be such a nice card to receive, because it's not just a simple make. Although it is a simple make, it looks really complicated, so it'll be really appreciated by the receiver, and I'll feel really good about giving them a card I've spent a while putting together. Don't you just love it when you give somebody a card and they're a bit wowed by it, and they go, "What, you made this?" You're like, "Yeah, I did. I really did." Okay, so that's the outside done. You can layer the inside if you want to. You can make it as fancy as you want. This is all your work. So the inside card needs to be obviously a size to fit in here. So the inside card is going to be 5 5/8. So the same we did for the other. I'm going to cut it an A4 sheet at 5 5/8. The whole length, okay, and then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut it at 11 1/4. So 11 1/4. So that just gives you that. And half of 11 1/4 is 5 3/4. No, 5 and, oh my goodness, shocking maths. So 1 1/4. So it would be a half and 1. So 5 and 5. Ooh, do you think that's right? Check it first. Yeah. 5 5/8. Okay. my inside card. Just going to scar that there. So that is going to go like so. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down straight away. It's like getting a 2-in-1 card, isn't it? Much nicer than a shop bought card. Okay, now I don't want to knock that camera again, so I'll try and do it from this angle. Is that, yep. Okay. So now we just need a bit of DSP for the inside. So that was, I've forgotten already. It was 5 6/8. So that bit was so 5.5 by 5.5, I reckon. Let's try that. So this is the DSP for the inside. Okay, let's have a look. 5.5, 5.5 is what I went with. Ooh, perfect. Nice. Okay, so I would probably put a fancy die cut on the top of that I can write a personal message on, but not so big a one that it takes up all the DSP. I might even put a little gnome on the inside as well, because I think that would look quite cute. So that's the inside. Stamp on there as well, I think. And then this, how does this lock? So taking your pieces here, you want your card to fit in those pieces. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it, slide it in. The first time it's tricky-ish because you're trying to work out where it goes. Like so. But once you got it, you got it. And there you have it, your locking mechanism card. And it just slides up and down. The shaker bit is amazing. You can use it as a decoration afterwards. I need to just add my finishing touches, but there you go. That is our third card. Let's put these shaker bits back in. Now, if you have enjoyed watching this, there is plenty more videos for you to be inspired with. They're usually not too waffly, and they're usually fun cards or wow cards. There is a few albums and things as well, and more than cards playlist. But have a look and have a go, most importantly, and then get in touch and show me your makes. I love to see them. You can find me on Instagram under createdtheottaway, or on Facebook, or at createdtheottaway.co.uk. If you'd love to send me your photos, I would love to see them. So get in touch. Thanks for watching. Bye.